From the IMTV Wave Channel 5 studio at Greenville Senior High School, home of the Greenville Green Wave, the Greenville Veterans Memorial Park and Digital Library proudly presents Never Stop Serving.
I'm Matthew Kinley. I'm here with the VFW and the Veterans Digital Library mission, and I'm here talking about a very special veteran today, and I'm here with his family and friends to talk a little bit about him. So why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Margaret Hyatt, and I'm his only sister, Dwayne Hyatt.
All right.
I'm his oldest daughter, Teresa Hyatt.
I'm his wife. I live in Palestine, where he went to school.
So what was his full name now?
Just Dwayne Hyatt.
Dwayne Hyatt.
He didn't have no middle name.
Really?
My dad.
So what would you want to say was one of the biggest impacts he made in life? What was something he achieved?
He was a good person. We lived on a farm, and we milked cows and shucked corn, and so when he went into the Marines, I think I was 18, and he was 17.
Right.
And he was in Camp Pendleton in San Diego, and he came home on his after boot camp for a few days, and some guy came with him, and they drove through. So when it was time for him to go back, this fellow, he couldn't get in touch with him. So he went back the day before he had to be at Camp Pendleton. So he drove straight through from Ohio to California, and the only way when he stopped for gasoline, that was the only stop.
Right.
And when he got there, they had to lift him out of the car. So then when he went with the battalion to Korea. Okay. And he was there for 14 months on the front lines. Wow. And I can't imagine being a soldier carrying a rifle and ammunition and your food and your water canteen and a shovel, because you had to dig a foxhole, have a bunker, and you lived out there night and day. So the bathroom was there was no privileged bathroom in the area. They were dodging bullets and grenades, and I just can't imagine living like that. But he did it, and he came home alive.
Right. So, do you know when he served? For how long he had served in total? When he got back from Korea, he went to work at a naval station in Norfolk, Virginia, and he was down there as a security guard, an MP. Right.
And so the guys would come in with their booze and stuff, and he'd have to take it away from them because they weren't allowed to have it on base.
So he had to kind of keep an eye on people.
So it was good to see him home.
Yeah.
But I figured he was shell-shocked, because when I looked in his eyes, I could see something wasn't right with him. And then he married a good woman here.
Yeah. Thank you.
He had a great...
I hope I was.
How did he meet you?
Pardon?
How had he met you? Was it?
I started writing him. I worked with his mom at Glencorn and a chicken factory, and got to know her, and she wanted me to write him about things that was happening back here while he was in Korea.
Right.
And so that's how I learned to know him. Everybody writing letters to him, and then he'd send them back. And
Yeah.
we had a good time, and after he come back, of course, we went together for a good while, probably a year or so before we got married. Then I had 4 children. We've got grandchildren and great-grandchildren now.
Right. And do you tell them a lot about him?
Oh, yeah, we remember a lot of things.
Right.
He was a kidder, and I really missed that. he really was laughing a lot.
Yeah.
And his dad was the same way.
So he just kind of brought joy where he went, right?
Yes. Yes, we had really a great life. I helped him farm after he quit Hardee's. He didn't quit, he was just laid off, and he was buffed horn rings for Ford cars at Hardee's in Union City. And he retired for that and then went to farming.
Right.
He'd done a lot of farming first till he passed away.
You were talking about him being a naval, sort of working security for the Navy, and is that how he got to work? You said he worked here at the high school?
Yeah,
Is that how he got involved, working security?
Well, they needed a security guard, I guess, and he signed up and he got the job. So I guess that was that's the only thing I know about it.
So you all lived? Did he live here in town or
No,
just
he
nearby?
didn't live here. He lived at home and come here every day.
Oh, okay.
And I know he watched where they parked a lot, the children that came here and drove, and he made sure they got in the right places and stuff.
Right.
And he could make it, and he learned in the Marines how to make people listen.
Oh, yes. I have stories about that.
Okay. Are there any of those stories you would like to tell?
Yeah.
You hold that, Trace. You don't have to put it.
Yeah, you can just hold it for now.
When we would get ready to do chores,
That would hold us a little bit closer.
he would set us all down at the table, and no one was to talk. And he said, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you one time, and I will not tell you again. And so if you went back up to ask him again, he would not tell you.
Right.
And when I got to be married and in my 20s, he started talking about the war. And some of those stories were really hard to hear. His best friend, they were in the bunker, and his best friend was beside him. And all at once, his best friend's head fell in his lap. And he had to gently push his head out of his lap and go ahead shooting. And he was in charge. He was a machine gun sergeant. He was in charge of all the men there, trying to learn how to work that machine gun. And he told me that if you run out of ammunition, if you run out of everything else, you make sure you have plenty of grenades in your pocket, so that you will be able to fight them on. And he was a wonderful man. I learned a lot from him. He was like a teacher. And he would teach you a lot of things.
What about the battalion? How many came back?
100 left, and he was one of the there was 140, and he was one of the 40 that came back.
Do you happen to know what battalion he was in, or? If not, it's fine.
No, I do not remember. But he did tell me that, and he was screaming. The little kids, when he got grandchildren, and the little kids would scream, he would run out of the house. And he told me that was because when you were over there, you had to kill children. And the first child was stabbing him in the leg so bad that the child had to go down. And so that's why the screaming, he couldn't stand it.
Right.
And there were a lot of times when he would go into a shop and lock the doors and use your hammers and thing hitting the doors because he was getting his mad out. We had a dog one time that got in our hogs, and they were killing the hogs. Well, he took his shotgun and told us all to stay in the house. The dog was clear down at the end of the pasture field, and he was clear up at the front, and he hit that dog straight in the head. So that's how good a shot he was. And
Did I push something?
What?
Did I push something?
No, that was Theo. That was just for periods between.
oh, okay.
Just ignore that.
You want to say more?
Well, when we were little, I had a little brother that was 9 years younger than me, and all kids would come over from the neighbor kids, and we'd play sack tag in this barn, and it was all logs, so he could run across them logs with that sack and hit somebody with that old sack. It was tied in, so you could throw it. So my mom didn't know this, or she would have told us, we had to stop that. But I want somebody to explain the medals that he got in the service.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what all you brought today?
I'm not sure I know what they are, but Teresa. One's a sharpshooter.
This is his award for expert rifleman. This was his excellent in shooting the pistol and the machine gun.
All right.
And these dog tag came back with. I'm not sure what these two medals are, but I do know those three.
It looks like that might be his ranking.
Where
Yeah.
he served at.
Sergeant, maybe sergeant, yes.
All right. So when he came back, how did he get a hold of this? Was these something that he would let you see? Did he have a sort of place he liked to
He
put
had
his
it in that
medal?
little box.
This box here?
And would show us what they were and told us what they were for.
Right.
And like Mom said, he has his ring in there, which we lost the emblem to it. And also the dog tags they bit down on. And he was very proud to be a Marine. And if he saw somebody that wasn't standing up for the flag, he got very upset.
Right.
Very upset.
I want to explain what's on the picture.
The display?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Can I just go around here?
Yeah.
Okay, this first, I don't know if there's a glare in there or not.
No, that's fine.
Okay, the first picture is when he was in boot camp. That's when he came home. And then the dress uniform, and the battalion is down here, and the other side is his honorable discharge paper. And this was when he was at the high school in Greenville as a security guard. And when he passed away, Ronald Reagan gave him this thank you for serving in the service.
Right. So this display, I'm assuming this is something you all put together then?
I did,
Oh.
and I'm going to keep it, but they have pictures, so copy.
What was the main thing that made you want to put all this together?
Well, I had all these things, and I thought, I need to, he's been gone for, 30 years? I need to put this up so my kids can see it,
Right.
my family. So I'm going to hang it in my room.
Right.
It always meant a lot to me, too. It's these things.
Right.
He was a good person, fun to be with.
Right. Do you think that he would be happy that you were kind of carrying on his memory?
Well, I'm hoping he did.
I think he will.
I'm sure too.
So, is there anything else you'd want to talk about him, discuss about him?
He was a boxer, and he learned to box in the service, and he also learned to wrestle. When he came home, every time he came home for leave or something, he would tell his brother, let's see if you can beat me this time. Every time his brother said, before he knew it, he was on the ground every time.
In high school, he played a snare drum for Palestine School.
And basketball.
Well, like you said, he sounds like he was just just happy and sort of wherever he went, he kind of cheered everyone on.
That's I can't understand. War. It just it doesn't seem right to have wars.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate, but it's good to hear that even going through all that, he was still able to manage to
come home and
carry himself on and
take care of his family.
So, unless you have anything else, I think my last question would sort of be for all of you is, what's one way that he majorly affected your life? Like an impact, something either he taught you, kind of showed you, or something you learned from him?
Well, we got along. We were good to each other. Once in a while, we had a little, misunderstanding or something, but we always got along. And so he was a good person to be around, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was the best husband I could ever have, I believe. And he treated the children fine, and we just, I missed his joking around more than anything. So when he passed away, I never married again. Just hope to join him in heaven someday. And now I guess that's about it.
He was to me a teacher, a mentor, a man who made you want to be responsible for yourself and others. And don't ever forget the work ethic that he taught me and responsibility, because that's one thing he always said. His children should be responsible, have a work ethic, and to be polite to their elders, never walk in front of the door in front of an elder or anything like that. And I guess those are the things he taught me.
There you go, Teresa.
Well, unless there's anything else, I think that's just about going to wrap it up. And we're going to make sure that through this, he is not only remembered through you, but we'll be able to show others about his, and because of all of you, we can show them like his story and just that he was important, and all veterans are important. Basically, that's where our program is it's a digital library, so we can sort of remember everyone, past and future. And
I appreciate your time.
yeah.
I should say, too, that he has 3 other children. Curtis Hyatt, which is his only son, Cheryl Pretty, which is my middle sister, and Sonia Hyatt, who is the youngest. And they all, like me, with the work ethic and the respectfulness.
And Curtis has his rifle, doesn't he?
All right. Well, unless there's anything else you'd like to add, I think that's just about it. But thank you so much for your time.
Right.
I think he really would appreciate you all doing this. And
When he came home, of course, he didn't have no job. He went hunting for a job and went to Union City and got on Hardee's. And the next day, he had to show up for work. So he wasn't nobody to sit around.
kind of shows that he was a hard worker.
Yes, he was. And he buffed horn rings and television fronts there at Hardee's, and I don't know what else. Toward the last, he was a head of the cleanup men at night.
Wow.
So.
Well, then he worked at the chicken place at the fairgrounds,
Oh.
and that's where he went home and he told me he had an indigestion, and it was his heart. So his heart gave out, and that was it.
Well, luckily, you have all this and memories to remember him
Right.
from. So, again, thank you, and I think we've really learned a lot here. Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Thank you for watching. Please visit us on our social media sites. Please consider contributing to our mission in some way. Also, we are always looking for veterans and their families to share their stories with us. Be sure to join us next week for our next episode of Never Stop Serving.